Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. It is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Bebe, and I am joined tonight with Albert. Albert, how are you doing tonight, and how have you been doing all week?
Doing pretty good.
I've been busy, so I haven't been able to talk to you. How you been, bud?
Unfortunately, I had a kidney stone this week, which was no fun.
Oof.
Yeah, definitely not a fun experience there. So I was off of work Thursday and Friday, which was beneficial because I got to watch SmackDown as it happened, which was a hot show. And then
yes.
We just as we were you were hitting the live button, I was letting you know that I just finished Backlash. So at least I'm feeling better, and at least I got all my wrestling in before we got to talk tonight. So
yeah. So last night on our way home, because like I told everybody, I was racing home to make sure we got this show today. We stopped last night halfway, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna post up in the motel, and we're gonna watch it on the laptop. And I was just on the edge of the bed, just like this. It was a fantastic show. I was like, good.
God. That crowd, man.
Oh my goodness. That just goes to show how crazy a difference a crowd can make. Because
oh my God, yeah.
I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in Puerto Rico with these people, the way they were just going, and it was like, it's wonderful. Americans,
100%.
Take note, America. We're being put to shame by literally everybody else.
And not to jump onto my soapbox immediately here, but I mean, this is because Puerto Rico is so starved for WWE content, for American wrestling. Their reactions were so visceral, but it's exactly the reactions you wanted too. There wasn't any, like we're going to try to take over the show. Man, they were just enjoying themselves. They were cheering the good guys. They were booing the bad guys. They were chanting their faces off. And this is what it's like to be wrestling in front of a crowd that is no longer super duper jaded and cares about, did this guy win clean, or what's going to happen to this guy's push if, this guy, loses this match tonight. They were just in it, man. They were invested from the start to the end. And it's because they were just so happy to have something there. We take for granted all the times that, I mean, you're in Florida. I'm in New York. We're very close to a lot of hubs for pro wrestling.
Yeah.
People don't get this stuff all the time. And when they do, they're super excited. And that's why Cardiff was kick-ass. That's why Wembley is going to be unreal.
Oh my goodness. I'm so mad I don't get to go to it now, but
there's a part of me I'm upset too. That's going to be history. Like that's pro wrestling history.
That's really why I wanted to go. I wanted to be a part of history, and I wanted to knock a few things off the bucket list. I was like, this is a win-win-win. There's no reason. And I get to meet my friends, or not meet them, but I get to hang with my UK buddies again. That I got to hang out with in WrestleMania, hang out with a little bit more. So I was like, man, oh my God, this is a perfect storm. And it doesn't get to happen, and now I'm sad about it. But let's move on to these comments before we jump into the show. We're going to talk about all this nonsense. Yes, nonsense. That's what I'm going to refer to everything as, nonsense, because
I like it.
I'm just a nonsensical kind of person. Got no Tidey. So Tidey is busy this afternoon. He said he might join us. So there's a possibility he could join us in the middle of the show. As soon as he pops up in my queue, I'm going to bring him in. But if he doesn't, it's because he's busy. And if that's the case, much deserved night off for Tidey. So that's what it is. Thank you, babe. It is you that is looking good. She says hello to Albert. And then, yes, maybe Tidey later. Hopefully Tidey later. I ain't get to talk to Tidey either all week. So hopefully he makes it. But again, if not, I get it. I understand. What is up, Cameron? Thank you for joining us again, bud. Thank you for joining us. I think that's Absolutely. Like 3 weeks in a row. I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. I appreciate the support as always. The 12 contenders for yes, we're gonna jump on that too. Obviously, Backlash first though, because Backlash was just so right here. Backlash was so damn good. Oh, excuse me. So, without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into the Backlash talk because I'm just through the roof at how good the show was. I saw some people saying that they thought it was better than Mania and Rumble this year, and I personally don't think so. But I wouldn't argue with them. I'm like, I can see why you would think it. I really will. I can see it. I don't know about you, but
I don't know. I mean, look, it's the hot crowd, man. It's the hot crowd effect. I mean, that Puerto Rico crowd, rivaled and maybe surpassed that Montreal crowd that we had the month before WrestleMania. I mean, these are extremely big pro wrestling hubs that WWE hasn't hit in a while. And we're hearing like this Clash at the Castle, like we were talking about before, AEW's, show in Wembley. These are all going to be huge crowds and loud crowds and excited crowds because they're just so happy to get this. But man, that crowd last night, that pop for Savio Vega,
that was great.
Carlito
was fantastic. I was like, oh my goodness. And man, I'm gonna slip some Dom love in here because I'm gonna do it any chance I can get. Man, he has officially become like the Miz role.
Yeah,
he's just way more effective at it right now. That's not a slight at Miz either. Like I know everyone's thinking I will, but it's not a slight at Miz. He's so good at the role. We want to see that boy get punched in the face, and they let everybody do it. And it gets the biggest pops when it happens. Man, Dom's on another. And when Savio did the little chops to Finn, I was like, all right, you did your thing, now go. And he did the Dom. I was mad. I was like, leave Dom alone. But I know that crowd was loving it, so it's all good. It's all good there. So WWE had this thing, and I'm going to ask you the questions from it. And
sure.
We'll both answer it. But just a little quiz on it. So, let's comments first, then we'll do. She says she's confused. What's going to happen now between Bianca and Rhea? Because Rhea's going Raw and Bianca's going to SmackDown. And Amanda says, you think they just swap. So they've done the swap in the past many, many, many times before, and it's just a dead thing. I honestly think they're getting new titles. They're not going to be Raw Women's Champion. It's not going to be SmackDown Women's Champion anymore. It's going to be WWE Women's Champion and then Universal Women's Champion. That's why I personally think they're going to do it. It just makes so much sense to not do that.
Sometimes I feel like we just think exactly the same because
That's why you're here. Yeah. Great minds think alike. Swap belts.
Yeah.
Nah, Lou. That's Lou right there. I don't think they're swapping belts. I think they're just introducing new ones. I think everybody across the board, with the exception of the Intercontinental United States title, I think they'll probably stay the same.
Right, because they just redid those.
The women and the tag and even Roman, I think, are all getting new titles. So,
I have a feeling the same thing too because of this confusion of the three world champions, which people can't seem to get through their skulls.
We have a WWE champion, we have a world heavyweight champion, we have a universal champion. I get Roman having two titles is confusing if you don't watch and you don't pay attention, but if you do watch and pay attention, you know that those are now one title, and that's not a thing. So is that what's going to happen? I don't know. I think it's going to happen. So if it does happen, pat myself on the back, I got it right. And if it didn't happen, hey, I just talk crazy stuff all the time. Nonsense. Yeah. That's what I talk. So you got to forgive me for it. So we got 1, 2, 3. There's 6 questions here.
We're not playing like we know everything.
I want to ask you right and quick. Sure. From Backlash, what was in your opinion, what was the best match on the night? If we don't agree with this one, I think we're gonna have a problem.
Man, I think it's got to be Priest and Bad Bunny, right? I mean, unreal. That crowd was so hot. So I'm going to be honest here. I'm not a Bad Bunny fan, like musically. I don't. It's just not my genre of music. It's just not. It is what it is. So, but I understand the scope. My girlfriend is a very big Bad Bunny fan. She loves him. Listens to his music often. So I've heard him. I know like what he's about, but I was never like a big a fan. I can't say I was like ever a fan of his.
Yeah.
This performance just was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm a Bad Bunny fan. You know, whatever. I don't even care. The idea of hearing every person in that arena sing along to his music, meaning that not only is this man so popular in the Puerto Rican culture that he's a staple of everyone's house. They all know every word to his song. But also that crossover in wrestling too. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where you don't like pop culture usually and pro wrestling never really truly clash the right way. There's always some semblance of a disconnect, except for like Motorhead. Like certain acts kind of fit in the realm of pro wrestling. Bad Bunny doesn't seem like one of those acts. And my God, that I have never heard a pop like that in my life. That was like
Fantastic.
Indian Stampede, Bret Hart pop like category over there. That was nuts.
Yeah, but I like Bad Bunny. I've never bought into this thing that like, oh my God, he's so like. I feel like he was overhyped at first, whereas he had a great match. I think when people come out and they kind of shock you a little bit, you kind of take what they did a little bit more than what it really was. After last night, I was an idiot. That dude is legit. He's real. He's the real deal. The fact that he like when he does these, he kind of just puts everything else on hold and goes and trains as hard as he does to make sure he's getting me because he's a lifelong fan. So he definitely takes it seriously. It's so great. That match was, oh my goodness, it was so damn good. I was sucked in.
Oh my God. So not only was I sucked in, I was watching that match. There's a little TV in my living room as I'm folding in my parents' house, and I'm folding my laundry, and my parents were just sitting down to eat dinner as I'm just doing my laundry, having it on the back, and I said, "Mom, Dad, sorry, we're watching this because I got a show to do later, and this I got to talk about it." So my mom was like, "Wait, is that Bad Bunny?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Bad Bunny," and she was like. Wait, he's doing like all of this? Like he's like doing everything. Like he's wrestling. And I was, yeah, Ma, he's doing everything, And she was invested the entire time. My mom isn't like she'll watch wrestling every once in a while, but I mean invested to the point where after she was done, as the match was ending, she got up from her seat in the dining room and sat in the living room to get closer to watch the end of the match. Like completely sucked in. I mean, and that's the power of somebody like Bad Bunny. It's like. With celebrities doing this, that spot where Priest, hits him with the broken arrow through the table from the top of the production, pod. I mean, come on, man, that's nuts. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is a multi-platinum award-winning artist.
That dude's in the middle of a world tour right now.
Right,
that's crazy.
I've in their pants right now watching this guy getting tossed through a table like that. That was insane. No other artist is going to do that. Like it's.
When they climbed up on that spot, I was like, okay, Priest is definitely taking this bump.
Right.
There's no way I saw Bad Bunny take a bump. And for not only Bad Bunny to take the bump, but for it to be the broken arrow, like he didn't just get tossed and just kind of like we used to do on the trampoline or on our beds or anything like that. The man took a broken arrow like off the thing through the set and then continued and then continued and then continued. And it's like, man, you got to respect what he's doing. These comments real quick will be the logical thing to get. Yeah, absolutely. And they tend to do it every 5 years anyway, because then 5 years down the road, they can start selling the titles they just got rid of now as nostalgia. And then they cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's a money business and they know what they're doing with it. So yeah, I think that's time to start recycling some of those belts and just get rid of the Raw and Women's Raw and SmackDown tags on those titles. Cause it's just dumb to me. Like, why?
And the thing is that you can just design a title, and if you want to just change the straps, I'm cool if all the Raw brands only have red like straps on their belts, and all the SmackDowns have blue. Like that's cool for me, and because it doesn't change the plating on the title, it's just what the belt is put on.
Yeah, I get it. I just don't like you're the Raw Women's Champion. I don't know. It just kind of. It makes it seem lesser than like Roman's the WWE Universal Champion, and then Rhea Ripley's the Raw Women's Champion. It's like, why can't it just seems like it's not fair. How about that? That seems like
listen. I'm agreeing with you. That's my prediction was the same because they can't keep doing this. They can't keep this up. Like this is ridiculous now. We're now what? How many years into this brand split where they've introduced these titles? And they're consistently in this spot where they're like, well, we want to swap champions.
At least once a year, they have to swap a title. And it's like, right. And the only time I feel like it was done the right way was when New Day did it. And I think it was New Day and the Street Profits, where they're just reining each other backstage. And it was like, oh, well, here. And they switched it. Right. And that was it. That's the only way I've seen it done where I was like, okay, I like it. But
no matter what, I'm not thrilled about it, but whatever.
I was aggravated they let Bunny win. And I'll say why I'm not. I get why fans are aggravated that Damian Priest lost because this was Damian Priest's like first big match and moment. Like it was a high, like a very big spotlight for him, and I was so happy for him. And to see him lose to Bad Bunny, it's like, man, that kind of is a bummer. But the lasting visual that I got from that match was like, what was it? You had the entire LWO, Rey Mysterio included, Bad Bunny, Savio Vega
Carlito.
and Carlito.
Come
Judgment Day
on.
was clearly outnumbered. So
Yeah.
Priest just got caught up in the numbers game, and he dominated for most of it.
They got what was coming to them. That they're heels. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yes.
They
So
are supposed to. And look, this didn't hurt. Damian Priest losing doesn't hurt Damian Priest a bit. We're gonna get to it in a little bit. He's one of the guys that's in the world title tournament.
yeah, and
it didn't hurt him at all.
I think he's about to be rewarded for it too, because the match was stellar. Like they put so much trust into him, and he knocked out of the park. And if you go back to his United States title run, everyone talks about the United States title was garbage for years. Priest had a great run with it. I don't care what anyone says. He had a great run with it, and it was lengthy. And I think he almost went an entire year before he lost. Like, I really think they're about to reward him because he's part of the second best act in WWE right now with the Judgment Day. The group is just continues to amaze me. He's the powerhouse of it. I would say, man, I know you're a Finn guy. I think Damian Priest is the best person in Judgment Day.
I'm a big Finn guy, but I mean, look, that doesn't diminish how much I love Damian Priest. I think he's fantastic.
That's not a slight at Rhea, because Rhea's fantastic at what she does. It's definitely not a slight at Dom, because Dom should be the next world champion. It's a damn shame he's not in this tournament. But Damian Priest, I think, just man, he has a look that makes you go like, yo, he looks like a badass,
right?
Then he performs like a badass. He sounds like a badass, and he can go like, so it's like, oh man.
He's got like so many qualities of a guy like Batista, but he can move. You know what I mean? Like he's got like that it factor about him. Like you see a guy like him, you stop and you're like, oh yeah, no, that guy's a badass. Like I want to watch that guy fight somebody.
Yeah. So Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, it was great. It really was.
Really was.
I'll put it this way: it's number 2 on my match of the years. My match of the year is completely different from everybody else, though, because I do it based on how entertained I was. I don't go off of like, oh, how many flips did they do and how many near. I don't do all that crazy. How invested was I? And this is probably it's very close to the number 1. My number 1, I'm not even going to bring it up because people make fun of me, but that is what it is. But we're in agreement there. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny was the match of the night, and I think most people do. There you go, Punishment Martinez for sure, bro.
Yeah.
And I love how Michael Cole always brings up like he's delivering so much punishment. Yeah. He's really punishing bad. Like I love it. I
like the Corey with the TNT reference for Savio Vega.
Yeah.
Like I like that. They're doing that a lot more. They did. Cole said something. Oh, like the amazing red nod that Michael Cole mentioned the amazing red on commentary. Like whoa, that was out of nowhere there. I love that.
All right. So next up. Best entrance on the night. I'm gonna let you go first again. Who had the best entrance?
Man, Zelina Vega's was awesome, man.
Bro, so I'll let you go. Then I'll do mine. I was gonna pick Zelina just for the fact of the matter. I didn't want to like double up, but go ahead with Zelina and I'll do mine.
I mean, how cool was that? The Puerto Rican flag coming out on like walking out like that. I mean, come on, that was so badass. You can tell how emotional she was, how happy she was to be there. Performing in front of her, her people, her mom's front row with her family. I mean, just that entrance gear was just so fire.
Queen, straight queen.
Yeah.
Like my girl said, she goes, man, if she was on RuPaul's Drag Race, she would be this week's winner for sure. And she's like, tweet that because it's a good one. I was like, all right, babe, I got you. But she was right because Zelina she was queen of the ring. But she never looked more of like a queen than she did. Like, I was like, this is a very simple outfit that she's doing, but she's making it work. It was awesome.
Yeah.
My buddy Lou, he says she looks so good. He loves Zelina. I was gonna say Zelina just because I didn't want to. Like I said, I didn't want to double up because Bad Bunny's entrance. That was what completely sucked me into the match to begin with. Because
dude, it was like a concert.
Yeah, and the crowd. It's the crowd.
What a vibe, man. I mean, unbelievable.
So like he came out, and I was like, okay, I don't really care for his music, but I was kind of feeling it. I was like, okay. And then he came out, and he's sitting there doing this, and the crowd is sitting there getting into it. And I'm like, man, this is infectious. How could I not be enjoying myself? And I just kept going, and then it just kept going and getting better and better and better. I was like, man, it was very simple but so effective.
I mean, absolutely unreal. The pop just initially, as soon as he comes out, and then the second. So obviously, I know he's popular and I know he's big, but the second they start going word for and like just in with all of his lyrics, I'm just like, this is something special.
So
Like Cody too, by the way, they were singing
so,
Cody's song too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He is super duper cool as well. But man, everybody.
I'll bring up one more entrance too in a second, but I just want to point out, like, for a while now, I've talked about how WWE's crowds have killed their shows, because I think the shows have been pretty good for quite some time. Not as consistent as I would like them to be. Obviously, not as consistent as everyone else would like them to be. But I think Raw's been great for much longer than a year. I know everyone's like, no, it just got. No, I think Raw's been really good for quite some time. I think the problem is the crowds suck. And I've always said, if WWE can get a crowd like AEW's, you would see what I'm talking about. And I think last night was the perfect representation of what I've been trying to say. If they can get crowds like that, you're going to see like, oh, these shows, okay, these are some fun shows. Unfortunately, they got to go across overseas to get there. And it's like, man, this sucks. But hey, we get another one next month. And then after that, we get another one after that. So it's like, yeah, baby, do them all across seas for a while. Make America miss our PLEs. That's what I say. Don't give us another one for 2 years.
And that's a huge thing you just brought up. And this is a big response to the internet, because I consistently get bombarded on Twitter with like this premise that AEW fans, so the idea of like, when it comes to their crowds, that there's much more AEW hate than there is WWE hate. And I'm like, nah, because WWE fans really don't like the WWE, like, majority of the time either. Like, you got to remember, before there was an AEW, all these people were complaining about WWE, and the numbers haven't gone down. These people who are claiming that they stopped watching WWE, well, they made up for you like that, because the numbers are right back to where they were. But it shows that that wrestling fans are more inclined to take over a show in a WWE show and boo things that should be good, when in AEW they just kind of just like, whatever it is, cheers all around, So
it is kind of lame, because it kind of makes it hard to differentiate baby faces and heels to me. That's my biggest complaint with cheering everything. I'm glad that everyone's having a great time, because again, that's what I preach all the time. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to have a great time, but it just makes it hard for me to differentiate sometimes. Puerto Rico just nailed it on the head. Like, they were like, we're booing who we're supposed to boo. We're cheering who we're supposed to cheer. We're not going to shut up from the moment this show starts to the moment this show is over with. Right. I loved it. But
there was that point in the Bianca and Io match where they were kind of like, I don't feel like they were booing Bianca, but they were kind of just cheering Io.
They really wanted Io. They were really trying to will Io to that win.
Yeah, and and a lot of people are talking about, like, and this is another thing. Oh, they're failing Bianca with this long title run. Man, like, come on. Like, you complain that they hot potato the belts all the time, that they don't know what they're doing. They're just putting them on this person, putting them on that person. They don't care. Then they give a largely long constructed, good title run to someone who deserves it. And what's everybody do? They start to complain.
Like they always do. Like Seth Rollins. Like they always do it. But, he says more so the crowd that got. Yeah, for sure. Because I don't think I've ever listened to a Bad Bunny song that wasn't on WWE. I think I've played it for my girl because she's like, who is he? But I don't listen to him. But man, yeah, the crowd definitely got me. They definitely got me. Belair heel, it's not happening, man. She's Cena. She's John Cena. That's the best way to put it. She's not. She can do a heel really well, but it's not happening.
I saw it last night too. I thought about it and I said, man, she can never be a heel again. How could she ever turn? Yeah.
And then Cameron here says he likes Cody Rhodes and Zelina. So Zelina's across the board. So I will say this. I when it happened, because I've been fortunate enough, I think most of the WWE shows I've been to, I got a Brock entrance. And man, when that that I don't even know what it is, the beast sound in the very beginning that lets you know, like, oh, it's Brock, every single time gets me.
Yeah.
I think we need to start looking at Brock Lesnar's entrance as probably the best entrance music in the history of wrestling, because of just how it works. it goes with Brock first and foremost. That's the biggest thing. We all complain like the music doesn't go with wrestlers. Brock's goes with Brock. So that's number one. Number two, as soon as that first chord hits, you know who it is, and you're reacting to it every single time. And it's like it doesn't get old.
Like last night it was nuts. Did you hear them? It was whoa! Like everybody just went nuts, and then they stopped there was like a pause, and then slowly you just boo, 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 like oh no, that's right, we don't like you. But that immediate, chord that when Brock hits, the entire place just lets out like a massive roar every time.
And then they're like, oh, he's the bad guy. Let's stop.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They had to remind themselves, like, yeah, it's Brock. Oh, right. It's Brock. Boo.
And
boo.
To this, Lou, man, I love Nakamura's music. Nakamura is one of the music songs I'll actually listen to in the car. Like I don't have to just listen to it on the wrestling. I'll listen to it whenever I want. It's really, really good. I think Brock's impact on the business kind of elevates him a little bit because, man, if Brock's in a conversation now where if someone was to say he's on my Mount Rushmore, I'd be like, I get it. I get it. He's not on mine, but I get it. And that music is just like, it works. It's just crazy how just, if I heard it in public, I would know immediately what it was. And I can't say that about a lot. I'd have to listen for a second and be like, huh. Oh, okay. That's that. So that's my thing. I wanted to get that Brock thing because I remember hearing it last night and it just dawned on me. It's like, man, Brock's music is legit. And I don't think it ever gets brought up in these conversations. So
Brock is going to go down as the best full-time, part-time pro wrestler in the history of wrestling. I think that's really where it's going to just sit. Brock is so good at everything, and his presentation has been so good since day one. His debut on the main roster was insane. His trajectory from there forward was amazing. Everybody talks about how, he didn't need to beat The Undertaker. All right, I get where you're coming from.
Yes,
but the push that Brock got after that, 570 days as world heavyweight champion at the time, dominating everybody who came in front of him, it reignited where we were. Because remember, before the WrestleMania and The Undertaker, he was like, he lost to Cena. He was like 1-1 with people. Like he wasn't like this dominant. He was going 1-1 with Punk and Triple H. He wasn't this dominant guy. And then he beat Undertaker, and he went on a tear. He's a beast now because of that win with The Undertaker, and they capitalized on it.
And because of it, it's allowed other people to get elevated because of it. Because it's like, oh, well, they beat the guy who ended Undertaker's streak. That puts them on another level. It was
absolutely
in hindsight, like when it happened, I was like thrilled. I was like, this is awesome. But in hindsight, I'm like, that was like the greatest call ever. Like if it was going to be anybody, Brock was the guy. Yeah. But let's move on to this next one. We're going to do this one real quick because I think we both already talked about it. The best look of the night, Zelina, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's all we'll touch on that one. The best look of the night was Zelina because she killed it. She definitely killed it. MVP of the night, who do you got?
It's rough. It's got to be Bad Bunny, right? I mean, it's got to be. Like who else really going to be? There's a lot to talk about. The 6-man match, the storytelling in that was, there's a lot to unpack from that whole thing.
Yeah.
The main event, there's a lot to unpack. Blood and all this other stuff. But man, Bad Bunny stole the show. It just straight up stole the show.
I'll give a different answer just for the sake of a different answer, and then let's just put this out here about Brock. He says, she says Bad Bunny's MVP. Lou says it's Bad Bunny, so I'm just gonna do it just to be different. That's all I'm gonna do. Like I talked to my boys, regularly scheduled hostilities about this. Most of the time when I'm giving my predictions and all this stuff, I'm just trying to make things interesting. So I'm just gonna give y'all a little something interesting. But he says, now Brock's putting people over. Exactly, and that's why him beating Undertaker was such a big deal. But MVP of the night, Solo Sikoa. And obviously he's not a bigger MVP than Bad Bunny. I know this, everybody. But what Solo Sikoa did in that match was captivating to me. Because we've seen Sammy do it, we've seen Roman do it, we've seen Jay do it, we've been seeing Jimmy do it. Solo's kind of just been there. Last night, what Solo was doing captivated me.
Yep.
When I didn't catch when he did it to Jimmy, when he tagged himself in and stared him down, like, get out. I was like, oh, that's hard. And then when Jay, tagged himself back in by slapping the shit out of him, it's like, oh, this is about to get serious. He grabbed Jay and was about to spike him, and then he's like, I was like, Solo's doing it. And the best part that I don't know if anybody, like a lot of people caught, I caught it firsthand, and I watched it again, and I made sure to point it out. I was like, look what he's doing. It's crazy. When he stopped the pinfall, Sammy hit the haluva kick. It was pinning him. 1, 2, Solo saves the day. They all lay there for a second. Then Solo's the first one up. Sammy has rolled over to the left side of the ring. Jay is over on the right side. Solo gets up. He looks at both of them. He starts to walk towards Sammy. Then he stops. He looks back over at Jay and was like, that bitch slapped me. I'm going to get him. And he started going after him. And then Riddle's the one that saved Jay.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, man. Man, when is it going to happen?
And then, that's all of a sudden here comes
Solo's going to betray his own brothers. And it's funny, but at the same time, I cannot wait. I can't. I don't think it's going to be Jay either. I think they're switching us. I think they're going to get us. I think it's going to be Jimmy. But, man, I thought it was great. Solo had a great performance last night. And for him to get the pin on top of it, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. That was good. That was really good.
And you know what? The right team won. You want to see Riddle come back and look strong, but you know what he did? Even in eating that pinfall, he still doesn't lose much in losing to Solo.
It shows how much of an impact Solo has because the Usos have been losing and losing and losing. They team up with Solo and they win. It makes the bloodline look strong, which they should. Riddle takes the pin. That's fine. That's the right person to take the pin. I honestly didn't see them winning. So when they did, it was like, I was shocked, but I was like, they should have won. This is great. Yeah. It was fantastic.
That's exactly what my thought process was. It was the bloodline should win this. They might not, but the bloodline should win this.
Yeah. So everyone's saying it was going to be Jay.
Yeah,
everyone's saying it's Jay, and I think the bloodline storyline has done a really good job of, for the most part, it looked obvious, and then they're like, let's do something different, but it's always still good, so it always works. So after that, MVP. So best match was Bad Bunny and Priest. Best entrance was Bad Bunny. Zelina. Best look was Zelina. MVP of the night was Bad Bunny. There's a theme here.
a little bit.
Oh my God moment of the night. I'm gonna take this one first. I'll let you think about it for a second. Oh my God moment for me. Seth freaking Rollins.
Out of my head.
Because the match was everything it needed to be. When he went up to do the stomp off the top rope, I was scared for him because I just had visions of Sid Vicious. And I was like, please not Seth, please not Seth, please not Seth.
Yes.
But the way he turned his legs so that he would fall over instead of land on his, great. The stomp was awesome. The match was fun as shit. I loved that Omos booted him in the back of the head while he was doing the soaking it in. He's like, no, we're not doing this. You're on my time.
Right.
Let's look like a monster. Seth Rollins looked like a beast. Clearly looks like the favorite going into the tournament that we got going on. I think it was an effective match. And I saw people like, Seth is being punished here. Seth is shut up.
Yeah, being punished.
That was let everyone know, like, hey, Seth is that guy.
Right.
There's nobody better on this planet. And if you think so, that's cute. You're wrong. It's cute though. Seth freaking Rollins was my oh my God moment. It was so good. I loved it.
So I wanted
to. If it wasn't for Bad Bunny and Priest, it would have been my match of the night.
Yeah, same. So I just because we tend to agree too much, I'm gonna just say something different because
it helps. It helps.
We're just gonna have to talk about something else anyway. And man, Brock getting busted open like that, eating a turnbuckle, finishing the match in a crimson mask,
bleeding the hard way.
Morlock, Cody's smart enough to get quick pin on the big guy and beat him. Man, I've heard so many people complain about this match on the internet so much. How does this make your babyface look strong? Attacking him before the bell and busting him open. I don't know. How about it? He's supposed to be the everyman. You want to put a guy at the top. Remember, we saw guys at the top like Hogan and Cena. Supermen. They were supposed to overcome all this. Cody's not Superman. He's Batman. And that's the thing. Batman's just like all of us. He doesn't have superpowers. So he's got to use what he's got. And what does he have? He has this innate skill to be instinctive and to ensure that he can find a way to win. That's exactly what we want. That's who we are.
And
He's us. We wouldn't beat Brock in a fight. Hogan and Cena, maybe we could see it. We can't beat Brock in a fight. We would need weapons like Batman does. That's what Cody came with.
Yeah.
He came with weapons. He won. He pinned him clean in the middle of the ring. Bloodied the Beast, pinned him clean in the middle, and walked out. How are you complaining?
So I'm glad you brought up the Superman thing, because Cody was Superman before he lost to Roman. And that is Lou's gonna love this. And that is why him losing was the right call, because again, if he's Superman and he accomplishes everything, well, now what? He had to lose, and now you're starting to get, he's a little bit more humble. He's like, I know I can't beat Brock one-on-one, but if I bust his ass before this match, I have a much better chance. And it adds to that Cody realizing he has to fight from the bottom. He's no longer that unstoppable, undefeated guy that he was bragging about the entire way to WrestleMania. Now he's vulnerable. There's kinks in the armor. Like, it was the right call. I thought Cody should have lost last night, but as soon as the match was over and Cody won, I was like, you know what? If he was going to win, that's the way it should have happened, and it was done great. And let me get this real quick. So he says, yes. Yeah, I was like, I was animated. I was in the motel animated. Like, I was in there jumping up, doing the like singing the song with. I was so happy it happened. It was great. Seth makes everyone look absolutely, because he is the best in the world. He says, "Don't you dare do Josie." Lou hates Batman.
So look, I get it. I would have like preferred to go Marvel, and could have called him Iron Man, because he really is like a Tony Stark. But we were talking about Superman, so it kind of just equated. He had to go the next in line.
Cody had a lot of prep time, and that's why he won, Lou. I know that's about to make his head explode. Brock should have won. She was sad Brock won, so she fell asleep while we were watching it. And so today when we got home, she goes, hey, I need you to put those last two matches back on so I can see it. Love my girl. She's a ride or die right there. Love it. She loves Brock Lesnar. So when he busted over, Lou says, you son of a bitch. When she saw Brock hit the turnbuckles, she was just like, no. Like, I was like, oh, he's about to bleed, baby.
That gash was immediate.
Yeah. He did it the hard way. He's like, I'm not blading.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to ram my face into this thing.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to go over this next one either. Best crowd reaction. It was clearly Bad Bunny. I don't think. Yeah, Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny dominated. So I guess he is the MVP of the night. Again, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge Bad Bunny. I just wanted to give it to somebody else because we were just agreeing with everything.
Right. And you know what? That's a roundabout way that we just kind of covered almost every one of the matches that we that were there last night. So
but just
except for Bianca and Io, which I mean, if you want to just real quick, great opener. I mean, Bianca is.
I do want to touch on something from that match because I see everyone giving Bianca shit about the one-handed press, saying that she almost broke Io's neck or almost killed her or whatever. If you go back and watch that, because it didn't even dawn on me when I was watching the match because I was just so invested. I was just like, my brain left my head and I was just like, this is the best night of my life. That's what I try to tend to do with every wrestling show I watch. But I went back and was watching that clip today. And Io took her hand off of Bianca's too soon. And that's what caused Io to the nosedive. Right. So people stop blaming Bianca. I know everyone's tired of Bianca and they want to give her shit because they're tired. Like, she needs to lose.
Because God forbid a babyface champion is there too long. She got over organically. Yeah. God forbid we stick with them for too long.
Yeah. Right. So it's anybody that's listening that was thinking it was Bianca's fault. All I do is just go watch the clip. And pay attention to Io's hand, and then watch her start to. I hate to put it on Io because I love Io far more than I love Bianca. But if I'm being fair, Io's the one that kind of caused that spot, and it wasn't even like a big bot. I saw people like it was a crazy bot. No, she just landed on her face. Like that's not that crazy.
Full disclosure, I kind of did mention that I just finished watching this match, the last match. Sorry. Yeah. Prior to getting on here. So I didn't see Io and Bianca until this afternoon, really. And I saw a lot of discourse online. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to look at the spot. I'm going to wait until I see it and watch it. And after it all happened, and for a second, I was like, oh, that was it? Yeah. Because I kept seeing, like, other than that big botch, that match was great. And I'm like, that didn't even take away from it. Like,
no, it didn't. The match was fantastic. It was a great opener. It was a great opener. There was no misses on this card. I don't care what anyone says. You can argue. You can tell me, call me a gatekeeper or call me a whatever rider. I don't really give a crap. I enjoy it. I love every second of it. I'm way more happier than y'all are when I'm watching it. So call me whatever y'all need to call me. That's fine. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was fantastic. Lou says he wants her to be here so bad. It's just not gonna happen, man. There's too much money involved.
Yeah,
too much money involved.
She's so over, man.
It was fine. No, nothing came out about injury. I think it just looked bad. It wasn't bad though. She's fine. It's her fault. And this is what it is. He says Street Profits go heel too. I don't want to see Montez go heel. I do want to see Angelo go heel though, for sure. Everyone knows how much I love me some Angelo Dawkins.
So, real quick, just to touch on the heel turn. Look, here's the thing about Bianca. Bianca's like that one girl who's got all the other little girls in the crowd doing the Bianca dance every time she comes out. She's over with every section of the crowd. My girlfriend watched, WWE. I was like, she's gonna latch on to Sasha so much. She's gonna love Sasha. Sasha's gonna be her girl. Man, I was so wrong. It's Bianca Belair. I mean, she bought. We went to right when COVID ended, we went to the WWE in Madison Square Garden, and she was like, "I have a surprise for you." I was like, "Oh, cool!" And she showed up that day, and she was wearing a Bianca Belair shirt. She went out, she bought it herself. Like that was her girl. That's who she liked, man. You're not turning that. You're not turning her. Like, it just wouldn't make sense to.
Yeah. So I was kind of tired of Bianca. I'm not gonna lie. I was on that bandwagon, but then at WrestleMania when she had that entrance, it completely changed my perspective. I was like, I get it. Like I kept saying she's on her Super Cena level because she was being treated like Cena. But then that entrance, I was like, oh, she's being treated like Cena because she is Cena. She is the female Cena. We've never had a female have the impact she has, at least with the fan base. I don't think so. I think Becky's the GOAT, but I don't think she has what Bianca has.
I agree.
And it's great. My girl's daughter loves Bianca. We got her the hair braid. She's got the Funko Pop. She got the act. She loves Bianca. So she's not turning heel, and I don't think they should. I think it would be a horrible idea because, again, she's a moneymaker, and she's just such a natural baby face. I do think they need to work on some little tweaks in the character, but don't do anything crazy with it. I think she's fine.
Agree. Keep her where she is for the fans that are really buying into her. Yeah. Those little girls, man. You lock them in.
So was Bailey. I don't think she was anywhere near Bianca's level, though, man.
Yeah. So
people really disliked Bailey. Like they were like, "Yo, this is corny as hell, Bailey. Stop it."
Yeah.
I'm not saying a heel turn's out of the question either. I don't think Bailey ever pushed the merchandise that Bianca does either. I think Bianca's just on a completely other level. But I'm not saying it won't happen 3-4 years from now. I just don't see it happening any time in the foreseeable future because you don't need to. Her as a babyface and Rhea as a heel is like a perfect 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? A lot of WWE got a lot of crap for booking them opposite each other this year at WrestleMania. So glad they waited. So glad they waited because now you can anticipate it more.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I was mad when it didn't happen, but now I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. I was bitching the entire way up to WrestleMania. I was like, how could we get Charlotte?
I know. I was ready for it. I was like, I can't wait. Bianca versus Rhea. They were the last two in the Rumble a couple years ago. There's so much storytelling, and I'm like, oh wait, they can still tell that story at WrestleMania if they want to next year because they're both going to be here.
I think it was November when they had their first interaction backstage, and I did the Raw recap, and I was giddy. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. I told everybody it was happening. Now it's happening, and then it didn't happen. I was like, oh my God, I fucking hate you, Triple H. But it's okay. I got caught in my emotions, and I was wrong, and that's fine. It's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to be great. So
yeah,
we've touched on Backlash. Let me just look at something real quick. Oh, man, I can't believe I closed that out. Let's see if Tidey has any things he wants me to put out there for him. Don't think he's going to make it, but that's okay. Like I said, much deserved night off for the man. Sure. He said, where'd it go? Man, he had told me something. Obviously, no, I don't know who. No, because his people weren't even on last night. Here we go. Here we go. No, he don't. He don't really have anything. He didn't have anything because he's been busy. He's been busy.
I was going to say, was it a prediction on who he wanted to be the new world champion?
That's right. I'll touch on it there because now it is time for boom. The contestants for the world title tournament have been announced. We have 6 from Raw. We have 6 from SmackDown. And before anyone starts complaining, why are SmackDown people involved in this? Because if they win, they're going to move to Raw, and that's the end of the story. Stop putting too much thought into these kinds of things. It's ridiculous.
So I'm going to be honest. Initially, I was on the same bandwagon. I'm like, what are we doing? Not again. Hard brand split. Let's go. And then I thought about it. And I went, all right, still a hard brand split. What difference? Night of Champions is a dual program. You know, like they're both going to be there anyway. So what?
I'll say the one person that could have been added to this tournament that would have made me roll my eyes and kind of join that is if it was Solo. Had Solo joined, I'd be like, oh, you bastards, you're going to do this. Don't do that. But they're not. I don't see anybody on that SmackDown side winning, so it's not a big deal to me.
I mean, one of them has to make it to the finals, and there are 6 viable people that can make it to the finals with any of the other 6 on Raw and be an entertaining match, no matter what. So, okay, fine by me, whatever,
So, now that we have our things, let's go ahead and look at these. Who do you see from the SmackDown side making it to the Night of Champions?
To me, it's got to, I feel like it's got to be a heel. And I feel like a guy like Theory can kind of sneak his way in to that spot. A part of me, if they're going to go for a big like prestige, like they really want to crown this as being like the champion, I feel like it's got to be Lashley, right? Like, if you beat Lashley, you beat a beast. You beat a monster. Like you've overcome, whatever, however you want to say it. But like, you've beaten the top of the top. I feel like that's who.
So what I'm trying to look at here is usually in these kind of things, this is kind of how they start some feuds. So I'm trying to think who won't make it that would potentially be feuding with someone else that could potentially screw someone over, and that's why they don't get there. Because I like your Austin Theory pick because I would have never done that because he's United States champion, but he is a little smarky motherfucker
and look how
who always finds himself in these positions. So
the triple threat match at Backlash, the perfect way to win. He, Lashley hits the spear, he tosses Lashley out of the ring, picks the bones, gets the win. Like when he won in the triple threat match, when he won the U.S. title, he can really be that guy that might just benefit from, okay, Rey Mysterio's in a match with somebody and he's going to start a feud with them, so Theory's going to beat him and go to the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these triple threats are actually interesting because I'm looking at the SmackDown ones. I'm very interested to see who's going to be in these triple threats. Because, there's a variety there. If I'm gonna pick someone, I'm gonna make Tidey proud here. I'm gonna pick Sheamus.
There you go.
I think Sheamus has been an MVP for a long time, and I think him getting this kind of spot would be great. I could believe him winning it because, again, what I said last week is that Triple H made an emphasis to say whoever wins this title is going to deserve it. And I said it had to be Seth or it had to be now I'm drawing a blank. I can't believe it. It had to be Seth or it had to be Drew. Drew's not on it now. So, and then I'm looking at Sheamus. I'm like, Sheamus is definitely deserving of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I see him winning it? No, but I can see him making it to the finals because I don't think Bobby gets to the finals. I think Bobby is going to get caught up. I think Bobby and Austin Theory are not done. I think they're going to kind of get involved still.
I hope they are because it's been too long. But
in all honesty, it'll probably be AJ. It'll probably be AJ.
That'd be great, though. I love that. There's nobody on either side. Maybe The Miz is the only person out of the whole thing that I would be like.
I would replace The Miz with Bronson Reed.
Or Cody. Because I don't think Cody can't win this belt.
Oh, no, there's a reason Cody's in it, and I'll tell you. But I think I would replace Miz with Bronson Reed if I was doing this. Everyone else is fine. But it'll probably
Miz for the prestige and for his, he deserves to be there. But I'm saying that, like, on the Raw side, I'm okay with anybody winning except that I was going to say just for The Miz, but no, Cody too. Cody can't win either.
No, he's not going to win.
So any of the other 4, I'm okay with. Actually, any of the other 10 guys on there, I'd actually be fine with.
Okay, let's touch these real quick. AJ Styles. She is so mad there's no Dolph Ziggler. Lou says Seth freaking Rollins.
I mean, how could you say anybody different at this point?
Cameron from SmackDown. He's got Edge, Lashley, maybe Theory. Edge is an interesting one. Edge is an interesting one because he had to retire the original World Heavyweight title. So maybe he gets to retire with it again on his own terms. That's a cool story. I don't want to see it, but I guess it's kind of cool. Shinsuke and AJ in the finals. No, don't ever do that again. They ruined it. Don't ever try it again.
I wouldn't be mad at that. If they were going to really reboot this belt and make Shinsuke the guy to do it, I'd love to see that. But
I think the thing with AJ is, I think what's going to cause. I don't know how it's going to work because the bloodline stuff is kind of interesting. But AJ's been calling out Roman, so it's like maybe they kind of get involved and just say, "Hey, no, check yourself, old pretty hair boy, because you ain't winning anything while we're in town." And then that's how you get the AJ Roman. I don't know. But I'm sticking with Sheamus.
You know what? They're going to need a contender at Night of Champions for Brock no matter what. So one of these 6 guys can also be that guy as well.
Yes. So we got you say Austin Theory from SmackDown. I got Sheamus. From the Raw side, who do you got making it to the finals?
Seth.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, it should be Seth. Look, the Finn Balor mark in me wants it to be Finn Balor more than anything else. the wrestling nerd that I am, before it was announced it was going to be a SmackDown versus Raw thing, wanted it to be Balor versus Rollins again for another brand new title.
You can get that in the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great story to tell. And I hope that's the story they get to tell because I think that's such a cool like throwback moment, right? But man, Seth's the MVP of maybe of all of pro wrestling right now. You know, I mean, the unsung hero. This guy is getting cheered 12 minutes. His songs being sung to him in France. They didn't stop until midway through the Omos match in Puerto Rico. He is so over.
Omos had to make them stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great call. Great move by Omos. MVP probably told him to do it, but hey, good call. That's a good
absolutely
heel move. Good heel move. So he's going with Seth. And here's my thing with Seth. I know everyone's picking Seth. It's just so obvious. Sometimes and usually when it's this obvious, it's like nope, they're gonna do something to get us to mess us up. But I'm not gonna pick Seth in my prediction.
When was the last time they did that? Besides the main event of WrestleMania.
I'm not gonna pick Seth because I picked a babyface from SmackDown. I'm gonna go a different route here, and I'm gonna go with the hot hands, Damian Priest, because I've said all year I think he's been just phenomenal. Like he's been an unsung hero for that show. Like every time he gets in the ring, he outshines. Was it the gauntlet they did where he just obliterated people? It was fantastic. He had to change his partners halfway through. He had to do the whole thing, but Finn only did half, then Dom did half. So Damian Priest has been fantastic. And I think Damian Priest for Sheamus, we've seen it before, but I think Damian Priest is kind of at another level right now.
Yeah, on this stage.
And then you also get the Brawling Brutes. No, because they're on different brands. Don't do that. I'm cutting myself off. Don't ever do that if they're on different brands. But if they were on the same brands, you could do Brawling Brutes versus Judgment Day, and that'd be okay. But
it would be fun to see. But
Damian Priest versus Sheamus, and I would want Damian Priest to win the world title. It's probably not going to happen. This is one of those things where I'm just kind of talking what I would like to see happen. I know it's not going to happen, but it would be interesting. I think it could work. I do, however, think. Just real quick. I think that Damian Priest and Finn Balor somehow, some way get into it during this tournament. I think Finn Balor's on his way out of Judgment Day. I don't know why. I've kind of been on it since WrestleMania. I think he's on his way out. I think Dom's going to take over.
Yeah, I have the opposite feeling.
I think this might be the beginning of it. I think that I hope, man, I don't know, because Judgment Day is so cool right now.
So here's my thing. Real quick, just to go back to what you said. We're going by like what we want to see. In my mind, Finn Balor is double foot stomping everybody in this tournament and winning the world title. And, you know, the Judgment Day's got him hoisted up on his shoulders at Night of Champions. That's what I want. Like, that's the ultimate goal. And if that happens, my prediction of what's going to end up happening with the Judgment Day is they're going to add somebody new. And I have this feeling it's going to be JD McDonough.
Oh, for sure. It's
Yeah,
definitely gonna be McDonough.
Yeah, and they'll bring him up, put him with Finn to let Finn basically show him the ropes. And when they need McDonough to break out and be his own guy, he's got Finn as the person that either he turns on or turns on him. The natural feud to start them off, Irish versus Irish, and then you're off to the races. That's why I just don't see them falling apart. I would really love to see Finn make it to the finals on the Raw side because they're going to need a top heel to work with whoever's going to win the tournament.
Oh yeah. But you could just introduce them afterwards. But to the Cody thing, Cody is going to lose. He's not even going to get past the first round.
I agree.
Brock Lesnar is going to come out there and destroy him. There's no way that he is not getting a receipt for what he did to Brock Lesnar. There's no way. And
you know that Brock's got to be booked for Night of Champions, right? Like,
we're going to get Cody and Brock at Night of Champions again for sure. But on Raw during that triple threat where it's no DQ, Brock's going to come on there and just obliterate Cody Rhodes.
Why wouldn't it?
And that's how whoever is going to probably Finn or Damian, whoever's in that match with Cody, that's how they're going to win. Man, that's going to be very telling. As soon as I see the match, I'm like, okay, because there's no way Seth doesn't win his triple threat. There's just no way.
Yeah, he has to, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so if we just went by this, the triple threats are Bobby, Edge, and AJ, Ray, Austin, Sheamus, Cody, Seth, Damian. Whoo, that'd be a crazy one. Right. Miz, Shinsuke, Finn. I think if it's done that way, Finn has a chance. No, he doesn't. No, Seth's in the finals. Finn's not getting anywhere, man.
I think Finn wins his triple threat.
Oh, he could definitely. No, I think Shinsuke has to because he just came back and he's hot, and they don't want to cool him off already.
I have a feeling that his first feud is going to be the Miz.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I just have a feeling because they're both on Raw. They did the Miz TV last week. I feel like the seeds are planted. He attacked him. I feel like that's where they're going. So I think that we're going to see that at Night of Champions, and I think Finn should beat Seth. But
my final choice is Sheamus and Seth. That would be a great match. I don't think it happens though. It's just two baby faces. I don't see him doing that.
They can very quickly turn Sheamus heel, whenever they want now, though.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing in the hotel room last night. No joke. I literally jumped off the edge of the bed. It was like, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
It was awesome. So with yours, you have Seth and Austin Theory, and you clearly have Seth winning.
I do.
And I got Sheamus and Damian Priest. Really, I have Seth winning it, but Sheamus and Damian Priest with Damian Priest coming out on top. That's what I think. That's what I think would be cool.
Tidey said Sheamus, but it has to be Finn or Seth. Those are his words in our chat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, Tidey's always gonna push that Sheamus thing. but hey, I'm with you, Sheamus, baby.
Listen, I'm the one who's gonna keep pushing the Finn stuff. So it is what it is. But
we all got our favorite. I'll tell you what's the biggest travesty here is that Dom's just not in the tournament. I think everybody knows my answer would be if Dom was in that tournament, but unfortunately, Triple H has this vendetta against me. He steals my ideas, and then he doesn't give me what I want. So it's like, you're a bastard. Dom should have won this title, baby. That would have been Dom versus Ray in the finals. Come on, man. You can't.
That's something else, right?
Man, that would have been so good. Man, oh my God, that would have been so good. You know what it is. Hey, you got Lou. You gave me shit about Sammy. You came around. Who was the last one you were just giving me shit about and you came around to? And I just was gloating about it. You'll come around to Dom as well, man. It's going to happen because Dom is the truth. Has Shinsuke ever wrestled Edge? He has not.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool one.
I agree.
What do you think the chances they put it on Shinsuke?
Why not, right? I mean, I think that it's right. Like, it's definitely feasible.
If you're going to reintroduce him, why not? Yeah. Exactly.
If you're going to, you really want to push him to that stratosphere, make him look like a top guy. I mean, this is the time to do it. Right the wrong that you had from a bunch of years ago that everybody said it should have been, he should have won it back then. And, make him the first world champion. Look, if Seth doesn't win this tournament, it's got to be, it has to be Finn or Shinsuke, because they're the only two other guys that the internet is going to not melt down about if they don't win.
That's why I think Dom should have been in it, and he should have won it, because the internet would have melted down, and that's the kind of reaction you want to get from your heels like this, and he's already getting them. So Man, ooh, hey, Triple H, you have 24 hours to fix this, bro. Fix it. Replace Miz with Dom. Like, do it. Oh my goodness. And then have Dom versus Finn versus Damian Priest in one of the triple threats. Woo! See, this is the kind of shit that I would do if I was booking things. It'd just be crazy. It'd just be nonsense. That's the theme of tonight. Nonsense.
But this is the stuff that you would want to see as like a wrestling fan. That'd be interesting. This is the other reason why I feel like there needs to be an authority figure on Raw. Like there needs to be something like Mick Foley used to be to like get messed with. That's like energetic, and then he's just like, you know what, Judgment Day, you want to keep screwing around? Fine, you're all in it, but you're all gonna fight each other. Take that.
You guys are part of the triple threat, and they're all like, yeah, and then they're like, yeah, but you're all in the same exact one. And it's
exactly.
Like, wait a second, what? Dom wins. And this is how he takes over as the leader of the Judgment Day, and he wins the world. Oh my goodness! Give me the pen. Give me the pen. Lou's mad at me. He's mad at me.
And the rest of the wrestling world probably is too. Let's not lie.
They can be mad all they want.
I love it though.
But guess what? I'm getting a heel, hate it even more, and that's the job. I'm doing it right, baby. So we'll move on from that. I'm excited for the tournament because again, if I'm looking at these faces, logically, I think obviously, realistically, there's like two that I can see winning this. But if I'm just looking at it and just kind of like, they could do something to make literally any one of these guys win it, and I'd buy it, with the exception of Miz and Rey Mysterio.
See, for me,
because there's no way Dom would let Rey win it. There's just no way he would let him win it.
See, for me, it's either Miz or Cody. And you know what?
Yeah, no, I can see. Whereas I don't think Cody wins it. Part of me thinks like they might just be like, let's do it. And it's just like, it would be a horrible decision, a 100% horrible decision.
It would be a really bad decision.
But it's like a 0.3% chance that I could see him doing it. So, but it's not gonna happen. So I'm glad you brought up Cody. Yeah, no, Cody's not. Cody's involved with that Miz and Rey Mysterio group as well.
Yeah, I agree.
None of those, but the other ones bring back the Legend Killer. I think he's next for Cody after Brock, baby.
I hope so.
Or like I was saying last week, I think Riddle and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being paired together, I don't think it was a coincidence. I just don't. If you're going to take those titles off of Kevin and Sami, it's got to be a person that's legit, and RK Bros is as legit as it's going to get without being the Usos.
And let's be fair. You can, if Randy comes back, like let's say now, you can have them toil away in the tag division for a little bit before you go to the SummerSlam with Cody and Orton.
RK Bro. So
how weird is it hearing like the Puerto Rican fans chanting "bro"? Like it's just so cool, man.
It's great. I loved it for Riddle because I think Riddle gets shit on way too much. So to see him get that kind of love, I was like, thank God, man.
I agree. And just man, did they not have the best time in the world? It was so cool, man. Like just. It's rare you get to talk about a crowd like that, man. That was just so fun.
Yeah, bring Randy back. So, and then they can finish their story. You got to finish the RK Bro story. So if you're gonna bring Randy back, that's what they need to do at first. So right. I don't know if you would get the Cody until Cody. He might be Cody's first challenger.
Maybe, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. Like make me wait for something. I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
And you know what?
Because he's gonna need a great first challenger after he wins it, or else we're gonna turn on him immediately.
Who's to say Randy doesn't show up on SmackDown and go after Roman? He's one of the only guys that Roman hasn't beaten on this path.
Because if he's going to show up anywhere, he needs to show up on Raw tomorrow night so that I can be there and be like, this is the greatest night of my life, like I do every other time I go to these fucking things. And that's where Riddle is. That's where Sami and KO are. So it has to be Raw.
So I thought the same thing, but there's a part of me that thinks there's like 4 or 5 guys that Roman hasn't beaten on this run that are like tippy top guys.
Randy Orton's one of them. Yeah.
Randy Orton is like number one of them.
Robbed of it at SummerSlam. The SummerSlam. Yes. Ooh, babe, we would have seen this if had Randy not got hurt. But we also wouldn't have seen the tractor, so it's kind of like a bittersweet moment. Man. Oof, yeah, we were robbed of it. But I think you could do that at like Survivor Series or something like that.
Sure. You could.
I just want the RK Bro story to finish. I was very invested in it. It was one of the most over acts in the company at the time too. So it's like I want to see that get finished.
The only reason why I almost want Randy just to show up on SmackDown is just so that that Roman can say that like he's beaten everyone. I think that like if you're gonna set the precedent that this is the most destructive and most powerful title reign ever, I feel like Orton's got to be in that list somewhere. Like how is Orton not in that list in this day and age? And even if it's just timing and it was supposed to and it never did, I feel like it almost maybe kind of hurts. I guess it really doesn't. I guess I'm just being a nerd about it. I guess I kind of just
no. It definitely should have happened, and it was going to happen. And I think the way they were getting to it was fucking great because it wasn't just like Randy showed up as like, oh, I'm the guy. It started with the Usos, and it kind of just naturally gravitated towards where it was going to go. And it's like, okay, we're getting same thing with Sammy. It was an organic thing that was happening. I was like, yes, this is what we need more of. And then it was just taken from us before we even got to like sink our teeth into it. It was like, we're getting there. And then it just got cut off at the knees. And we're like, damn, they never even got a chance to promo each other. So it was like, damn. And yes, yeah, give me some. And I kept saying, I think tomorrow night's going to be a Raw after Mania level Raw. I think this is Triple H's big show. So I'm not ruling it out because was there any spoilers of Carlito and Savio Vega showing up in Puerto Rico?
No.
I think WWE is doing a fantastic job of just working the dirt sheets lately.
It's about time.
Even the blood. Last week, 2 people bled on WWE TV, and they're like, WWE is putting their foot down, and they're banning it, and they're like, you're not going to do it anymore. And then Brock comes out and wears the bloodiest mask I've seen in forever. He bled more than Moxley did. So it's like, you got. You got.
Start throwing entourage lines at me. We're gonna do a whole different podcast there.
It'll be the first. Yeah. So again, storylines get started tomorrow night. Like straight up.
Absolutely.
So that'd be a perfect time to bring him. Oh my goodness!
Because that's the thing.
I'm getting myself too excited.
I think you're right. I think the Raw after WrestleMania is going to be replaced by like the first brand, the first night of the after the brand split takes place.
I don't want to say this will be a reoccurring thing. I think it'll just be because this I think is the official Triple H kickoff. I know people have been making jokes about it and all those other things, but again, when it first happened, everyone's like, give him at least till Mania. We got him to Mania. He did a great job up till Mania. And now we're getting the draft. He's still finishing up a few stories. And now the draft happens. Everything now is reset. And I think this is his big show. This is his image now. This is going to be the one we look back on years from now. Like, man, remember that show? This is the show that Triple H said, this is my time. So whose time is it? It's Triple H's time. Triple H's time is now, baby. I'm for the show. Even if I don't get Randy, I'm not ruling it out at this point. Again, I'm getting myself overexcited. But I think it's going to be a great show. 2 triple threats. I think Brock's going to come and just beat the holy piss out of Cody. Yeah, I want to be there for that.
It wouldn't be.
Yeah, it better not suck. I really don't think it's going to suck.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I really don't. And Zoe Stark for a championship. Get her a mouthpiece. I'm for it because I think she's great.
I was thinking about this. I'd love to see her with Ronda and Shayna, like as like the third member of that group.
I'm not against that at all. That's actually legit.
Kind of a thing.
That's
I think it would be kind of a cool thing. Like Lance Storm was a triple threat. Was the triple threat prospect back in the day in ECW? Like I feel like that'd be a perfect idea for.
Yeah, that's a great spot for Zoe. Honestly, that's a great nod.
That's what I do.
But before we go, we will touch on one last thing. AEW All-In tickets. Apparently, they have sold 61,000. They sold 52,000 in the pre-sale, 61,000 so far. They still have, I think, 2 months to sell that extra 29,000 at this point. Maybe it's even more. I didn't check today. I don't know, but
not one match.
Not one match. So that's a huge deal. I'm not going to bring up the little conspiracies I've seen, even though one of them did kind of look alarming. But I won't bring them up. There was no credible source. So it's like, apparently it's the way they had the seating is it's not going to be 90,000. They can't. So it's going to be row and then an empty row, and then a row.
So I saw the same thing.
And then with dim lighting, it kind of just, you don't notice it.
Right. So I saw the same thing. And then I also saw Tony Khan then flip out to that writer about, like, we didn't have the stadium set up for that. But then they kept saying they're opening up new sections. So, yeah, maybe you did have it set up for 40,000. And then you went, okay, great. We passed that number. We're going to open up new sections. Okay, we passed 60. We're going to open up new. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad thing. He didn't say anything negative. He was just saying, hey, they were starting with the idea of saying, hey, 40,000 is probably like where we're at in like a bare minimum of what we think we're going to get. And we'll move on up from there on.
And I'll say what his reaction there came across a lot like that one when WWE was apparently working with New Japan, and then he cut that fucking promo, and it was just like, and he was going nuts and all that. But then it turns out, like, actually, no, they were, because they were trying to work a deal for Daniel Bryan to go wrestle in New Japan to stay with WWE. So there literally was talks of them working with New Japan specifically for Daniel Bryan, not as like a whole collaboration thing.
Right.
And Tony Khan lost his shit about it, and I think that's why he reacted, because he knew there was a little bit of truth to it. But he's like, oh, but that didn't happen, so don't you dare try and diminish me in any way. And that's cool. He's standing up for himself. I'm not crapping on him. But it is very similar to that reaction. And I think that's worth noting when he's like, no, we weren't doing that. And it was like, maybe you were. That's not shameful.
Right or wrong, whatever the case is, whether the guy had the information right or wrong, there's a way to go about these things.
Bro.
Yeah. The immediate was, oh, why don't you go tell Nick Khan? Like, dude, what are you doing?
Bro, he told him to shove it up Nick Khan's ass.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
It's like,
what? Come on, dude. And that's the thing.
That's wild.
People are going to sit there and they talk about how vile of a human being Vince McMahon is. No, I'm not taking anything away, because that's immediately where everybody goes. Yeah. When you say anything negative about Tony Khan, Vince is the worst person ever. Okay, I don't care. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about when it comes to Tony Khan. There's a way that you handle things professionally, and that was just unprofessional. I'm just never not going to say that's unprofessional, because it's the same thing with Big Swole. It was unprofessional.
If I worked for someone that, like a boss, and they were talking to anyone in that manner, I'm gone. Like, I'm not working for that. That's because at what point is he going to do it to me?
To me, exactly.
If he's just doing this at random strangers on the internet, there's no way he's not doing it to people in real life. There's just no way. Like,
and that always gets. This is what always gets summed up in when it's somebody who's very beloved. And right now, Tony Khan is very beloved in the wrestling industry by the people who wrestle for him and by wrestling fans. It's always mistaken as it was just passion. He's just passionate for AEW. Yes, that's fine. There's also a way to take a breath and say, okay, I'm going to let someone who has some couth and some tact handle this. Hey, look, this guy's trying to discredit us. Go write a tweet about this and do it under my name.
And to Tony's credit, I think that's what Will Washington was hired for. I don't know if anybody knows who Will Washington is.
I hope so.
I think Will Washington is a brilliant.
Same.
I think he's done.
What a great hire for AEW.
I don't I guess agree with him on like his views on certain things.
Sure.
But as far as his knowledge and the way he conducts himself and everything, great. He's a great human being and everything. And I think PR was one of the things on the list of reasons he was hired. So
I hope so.
I would hope he's put in charge of handling those issues because he's great at it. And I'm not trying to shit on Tony Khan. I'm looking at similarities in situations. Like the situations were similar, or could be similar, and his reaction was similar. So it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire, I guess. If you're following me, if I've lost you, I apologize.
I agree.
I'm having a hard time explaining it. But I don't think Tony Khan's a horrible human being though either.
No.
Like I was just thinking about this today. We're buying my pre-parking for tomorrow's I was looking for somewhere I could walk to the stadium so I don't have to drive and pay for parking, because you gotta always pay for parking at WWE show. When I go to AEW show, I don't pay for parking. And I think that's cool as shit. I think Tony Khan does little things like that kind of make me want to root for the guy, even though, man, he annoys the shit out of me.
I know. Like
I
I
think
love him because
he takes care of his people, and he's fine with going broke doing it. Like he's not going to go broke, but you get what I'm saying. Like he's fine taking the money out of his pocket to take care of the people who are there for him.
This is the way I view it. Tony Khan is one of us. It just so happens that when it comes to us being
his daddy is a multi-billionaire.
Some of those pro wrestling fans are some of the most infuriating people on the planet. So, look, with good comes the bad. The fact that he's a passionate person about pro wrestling, the fact that he owns a pro wrestling company, he's passionate about pro wrestling, is the greatest thing in the history of the world for pro wrestling fans. But sometimes it doesn't translate when there are people that, look, and we talk about this all the time. I feel like I bring this up every week when we're on here. The age is skewed on Twitter. We're looking at people who are like 15 to like 25. And yeah, when we were in that age in high school, everything was great. When we were coming up, we were rooting for everything too. So that's what we're dealing with here. You know, there's a certain level of of like, now we're older. You're a father. I have nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Like this is like real world crap that we look at, and I'm like this. If I have to take care of my family, if this is who I'm working for, who's, like you said, who's to say this guy isn't gonna flip out on me in a moment of passion because I go in there and say, hey Tony, I think I'm worth another 10 grand, for my contract, and I don't get that Tony Khan. You know what I mean?
Or I just got an offer from WWE, making a little bit more money. And I just wanted to come to you to let you know, and then maybe he's out of bad. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't want to get too far off the subject of because it's the 61,000 thing is a fantastic thing.
Unreal. Like, I love it.
At first I thought 60 to 70 was the range, and I said if they got to 60, that's when I'd be like, all right, I'm in, I'm going. But not anymore. It can't happen. But just the fact that hold up, we got. Hey, no problem, man. Thank you for staying with us, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
We'll be back next week. So hopefully you join us back next week too, man. Appreciate you. But 61,000, I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like that, and that's with the first day of the sale. And again, that's fantastic. I don't see how they could sell it out.
Yeah,
I think 80,000 is what the number I'm looking at right now, and 80,000, man, that's not just a victory. That's like huge.
That's record setting.
Yes,
that's one of the highest gates in pro wrestling history. Period. That's history book level stuff.
Good. I think what's going to hurt them is the cheap ticket sales, and I'm not knocking it. You want to get butts in them seats. You want
absolutely.
A great show.
Get them in there.
Get them in there. That's fine. I'm with it. I saw people making fun of them for selling like $2 tickets one time, and I'm like, who cares?
Right.
Like who really cares, man?
So what? You don't want them to sell those $2 tickets so that the next day you could be a smart, toxic wrestling fan and take a picture from a really poorly lit member, view of AEW and go, look at this, they couldn't even sell tickets. Yeah. Oh my God. So that's the alternative. Either way, you're going to dump on them because you're a toxic smart.
It's crazy because they don't make them that cheap until like the first within a few days of the show. They've made their gate essentially. So they're just like, hey, let's just get a few extra bucks and hook some fans up.
Let's put buttons in the seats.
Or maybe I'm just a person who used to. Jimmy. Hey, yeah, no problem, Lou. I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up, man. Appreciate you. So, like, if you've made the gate and you can help, it's like that's a cool thing to do. Like,
right, that's giving back.
I don't get that hate on it either, but
because
if he sold the next 30,000 at $2, like, I don't see why you wouldn't at this point. Just be like, hey, we did it. And if anybody's like, oh, the tickets were cheap, I don't care. We still sold them.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
You guys didn't think we were going to do 40,000, and here we are. We did 90. Like, so
exactly.
Go for it, man. It's incredible. I'm so damn.
So happy. So happy for the wrestling industry. So happy for AEW. So happy for everybody involved. Tony Khan busted his ass to get to a position and it took balls.
Man, so I've been saying
took balls to run this show.
I've been saying for a year now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been saying for a year now, since like back when they were doing better like gates. I was like, all right, he needs to try a stadium show. He has to. He just has to. I want to see him do it, and he kept not doing it. And I'm like,
the biggest one ever.
Yeah, I was like, Forbidden Door. You could have done that in a stadium and sold tickets. You got Jacksonville, do that. And then he's like, I'm gonna do Wembley Stadium. I'm like, what are you thinking, bro?
Jackpot.
That's ballsy, and man, it paid off.
Good for him.
It was
That's
great.
how Allman got started.
Yeah,
here we are.
I agree. I don't think it was my particular thing she was agreeing with. I think she was agreeing with the idea in general.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's great to be. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely is,
bro. It isn't. It isn't because man, I wish fandom was better. That's my only gripe with wrestling, unfortunately. But so what matches? I don't know, and I'm the kind of person I don't want to know. I like watching it, just the show unfold like it's. In my opinion, it's supposed to be. It's a TV show.
Predicted at this point. I'd rather just see what they do.
I just like to know, like, I'm going to a show. I'm going to watch some wrestling. I want to see some storylines. I don't know what it is. I'm going to watch it fresh. So, like, that's why I hate those run sheets that people start sharing early on Monday. I'm like,
or just AEW just announcing every single match.
And that's a gripe I always have. So, like, Monday Night Raw doesn't do that. So it's like that's kind of why I gravitate to it a little bit more. So I don't know, but yeah, for real, bro. It's wild. It's wild, man. I could tell you some stories, bro. Like of just people I was legit cool with, and then it just stopped because of this shit. It's like, what is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. And independent wrestling is amazing right now, too. I never went to it before, but I never remember hearing about it like I do now and seeing it just pop up so randomly. Getting a bunch of shows in my town now, and that never happened before. So it's awesome. It's so fucking awesome.
It really is.
They do that for main event before Raw. Yeah. I just don't want to know what's going to happen. That's all.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Trust me, you don't. Or maybe you do. Yeah, because there's one in our group too. Anyway,
there's one in every group.
That's the show. I appreciate everybody joining us. Sorry, no Tidey, everybody. Yeah, he needed a night off. If he wasn't here, he needed a night off, and that's all there is. He'll be back next week, and we can kick it. It's a busy week for him, so we'll kick it next week. I don't know what we're gonna talk about because I don't know of anything big coming up this week other than just the draft actually kicking in. So
I'm sure that by next week there'll be 3 major wrestling stories that'll
break. Shoot, Moxley and Omega's in a cage, so I'm sure we could probably talk.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I think AEW Dynamic's gonna be great. So with that said, you happy to take this time and tell anybody where they can find you, what you want them to watch.
Yeah, just the Slam Sessions Network on YouTube. I'm recording some new content again today, so I'm going to start editing, and we're going to be seeing some new videos up there. But like Jimmy always says, a whole bunch of old ones to catch up on. So go give them a watch. Let me know how they are. And if you got any requests, put them in the comments of one of the videos, and I'll get around to it.
All right. And with that, you will not catch me on the Raw recap tomorrow because I'm not doing it.
There you go.
I got better things to do, obviously. But if you check out my channel, this channel right here, I'll try and post some shorts, everything from the show until they get taken down. Or
dude, have a blast, man.
I might just get caught up in the moment like I normally do and just forget to take pictures and all that. That's why my girl has been a godsend. She takes the pictures and videos for me. But if I do, it'll be on the channel. Check that out. Also, this Wednesday, I will be doing my first Dynamite recap back. We're going to call it Boom because, Adam Cole, baby. That's what it is. Lou, you know what it is. So that will be this week, and I will have a guest. His name is David Perry. He will be joining me this week. So come in and check out one of my new additions to the group. See what you like about him. We're going to be talking about Dynamite. I'm excited because I've kind of been wanting to do it for a minute now. I stopped because it got bad. It's got good again. I want to talk about it. So check it out. It will be immediately after Dynamite on this channel right here. And with that, catch us next week back here. And this is the part where we wave a goodbye and broadcast.